Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag-off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. From the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two dumb Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 780 of the Two Dumb Yinzers, and I'd like to welcome everybody back this morning. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. So apparently there's a unidentified flying something coming at the Earth, and it's supposed to be here by November. What is this? What is this? And how in the hell far does it have to be flying at high speeds through outer space and will be here by November? And they know this. Boy, it's something different every day, isn't it, Mike? You know, I was going to go the whole entire show and just let your mic be off. And I don't even know why it's off, because I was talking to you right before we went on. And at some point, the mic went off, and I don't get why.
I just noticed that, brother.
Is it the aliens? I don't know what's going on with your...
Brother, my settings were set, and now they're gone. I blame the aliens. I got to put some tin foil on my shit.
I got to be honest. Every day, I do have this new set of sticky notes. Every day, I'm going to swing by your studio and slap one of these green sticky notes right on your microphone, so you see it as we go in the air. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning, Richard on the board. Always great seeing Richard on the board. Good morning, sir, to you. So the world is a weird place, Michael. And I got to be honest. I ask myself, is it just more weird now because we're totally, constantly, always zoomed in on everything and everybody and life all around the world with the internet? It might have been this way all along, but we just didn't have this access all the time. And, as we were growing up, it could have been the same. And to me, it seems like it's getting worse. But on the other hand, again, Mike, we do see everything instantly as it happens around the earth constantly. And it could be a little overbearing sometime. And it makes you wonder, is that what's going on? Or is shit really just getting mad out of control? I can't tell. I'm on the fence, Mike. I can't tell what the hell's going on.
I think it's because you have access to everything and everything now that you see it more and more. Something happening halfway across the world. Growing up, we didn't know about that shit. We barely knew what's happening outside our block. So, now it seems like, oh my God, it's, this is happening. But you look at stats, everything's like lower than today than it was back then. So it's just, you're bombarded with it more. You see it more now. So you're remembering, oh, we didn't read about this. Well, yeah, because we didn't have access to it back then. Now we do. Now we see it all day, every day. Because everyone's glued to their phone. They're glued to the internet, glued to reading the news, watching the news. So you're just bombarded with it over and over and over again. And then the algorithms of all these places, they know what you want to read. So they just feed you those stories. So that's all you're seeing is the same shit you see all the time. So yeah, everything's fed to you what you want to see. So that's what you see. So therefore, then your brain goes, oh man, well, this is happening all over the place.
I think it's a little bit of both, to be honest with you. And I'm going to be honest, I do think this as well. People say that time is going really fast. And, as a kid, time didn't go fast. Time went really slow because you're always waiting for things. You're waiting for your birthday. You're waiting for school to be over. You're waiting to be another year older. You're waiting for this. You're waiting to turn 18. You can't wait to drive. And, people that were older would always say, well, you know what? Time flies as you start getting older because you're getting older. Your time is, And I think that has a lot to do with technology too, Mike, because for an example, say you went to the dentist's office as a kid and you're sitting there in the waiting room for 30 minutes. So 30 minutes staring at a wall with anxiety, waiting to go in to see the dentist, or 30 minutes with your nose dug into your phone, looking at exactly what it is that you like, what it is that you want to see. As you said, the algorithms put a lot of things and time flies. So I think that's what's I think that's what's going on. Is everybody, again, I mean, as kids are saying, time is flying, which is what really shocked me. But at the end of the day, Mike, I think that's what it is. I think the fact that you could keep your mind occupied constantly certainly makes time go faster, opposed to sitting there staring at a wall in worry of what the appointment is going to be, your doctor, your dentist, whatever the case may be. So I think that it plays a role into that, Mike. And I as far as the first one, I think there are a lot of things going on now that we might not have seen back in our day, but I also agree with you as well. I think that, the technology basically being beamed in our head constantly certainly goes a long way.
Yeah.
And, but for sure, it's certainly making time go faster, because as a kid, Mike, there was nothing you could have done to make the time go faster unless it was a Sunday and you were playing your video games and you looked up at the clock and next thing you know, it was 10:30 at night and it was time to go to school.
Exactly.
But here we are, everybody. Good morning. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 780 of the Two Dumb Yinzers. That's right, Mike. Only 20 shows away from the big 800. Only 220 shows from the big 1,000 milestone. It will be here before you know it. No two ways about that. Some big things going on, Mike. The Pittsburgh Steelers finally have the day off after starting training camp last Thursday. They're off today. We'll be touching on everything that went down to this point in training camp, and as things get ready to kick off tomorrow, Mike, as the guys do start wearing pads at camp tomorrow. So it's going to start changing a little bit, and we're just another week closer to football. We have NFL football this week, Thursday night. The Detroit Lions in the Chargers game. That's this Thursday, gets us kicked off. The Steelers will be playing next Saturday, not the Saturday coming up, but next Saturday in Jacksonville. So it's here, Mike. Again, they have the day off today. We'll go over everything that got us to this point as far as training camp goes today. We'll get through all that. We'll look at what we plan to, or what we think we'll see this week in camp. Moving forward, again, Mike, it's just the beginning. We're just at the doorstep of football season, and I got to be honest, I'm loving every minute of it. I talked to you off the air yesterday, and we just kept going on about how exciting this is, and I think rightfully so. I think that there's plenty of reasons for
to
be excited this year, certainly more than in some of the recent years. So I think it should be a lot of fun, guys. So I do want to say to everybody, welcome back to the show, episode 780. Derpy's penciled in to go down to camp this weekend. And then over the weekend, he writes into our group chat. He's like, I don't think I could go to camp because me and my friend have to go watch wrestling. I thought, wrestling? So then I'm reading on, and I guess apparently this weekend SummerSlam. But late last night, he gets back on and says, well, I guess I'm going to camp. So I'm
lost in the sauce with the Derpy news too, brother. I was reading all that messages, and I was confused. I felt like he was. I just let him talk himself into going back into camp, which was kind of what happened.
That was what happened. Like nobody really responded.
No one he responds at weird hours for me because my sleep schedule's all messed up from work and stuff. So I get half these messages while I'm sleeping, and I wake up like my man talks himself in and out of going to training camp. He peer pressured himself.
So apparently he's been negotiating with himself lately because
now I love it.
Now he's going to camp, Mike, but now he's not wearing his Superman cape when he goes to
That's
camp.
fair. That's fair, brother. It's hot up there. Lady had a seizure up there from the heat. So I don't want Derpy.
Yeah.
We'll build some toughness for Derpy.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, you got to give this guy some character. What's he riding with?
What's a little seizure?
Yeah, what's a little seizure every now and then for Derpy? Good morning, everybody. Good morning to Aaron Jade. Good morning to Richard. Great to see everybody on the board. Great to see everybody this morning. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. That's right. Pittsburgh Steelers are off today, guys. They're enjoying their first day off since camp started just late last week, and we'll be back at it tomorrow in pads. As I said, once you go pads, you know you never go back, baby. It's time to go. It's time for the and again, Mike, there's a lot of things to be excited about this Steeler team. We're going to get into a lot of it today. I think, again, I turned very optimistic over the weekend after I just sat back and looked at what we have going on, and we have a lot going on, to be honest, and certainly a better reason to be excited about the Steelers season than we've had over the past 5 years for sure. We'll get into all that and much, much more. One thing before we do start, Mike, I don't know if you've seen this, Manhattan's famed Diamond District. They had a bunch of the stolen goods, Mike, from the international burglar rings that's been going on, where apparently they target the homes of prominent athletes. If you recall, Joe Burrow he had his house broken into. There was about, I don't know, I can think of about a half dozen different people that pro athletes that had their houses broken into, I think last year. And apparently a lot of this stuff is ending up in this famous Manhattan's Diamond District place that sells a bunch of, I guess it's like a secondhand swap shop kind of, what are them places called? A consignment shop. But it's a high profile one and high end. And apparently a lot of this stuff that was jacked from these pros' houses, Mike, are in that shop. And they are being investigated. Man, you lost your mic again, man. I'm not even sure what's going on because I still can't even hear you. No. You with this microphone. And the fact that your name is Mike only makes it even worse. You think a guy with the name Mike should be all over this situation. I don't know. I still can't. Just take a minute to figure it out, Mike. I will. Let me catch up on some of these messages on the board. Good morning, everybody. Richard says, good morning. I missed the space object story. I was watching Happy Gilmore 2 this weekend. Unfortunately, Vanilla Thunder didn't make a cameo. Yeah, that's true. He did not. Yeah, as far as the space story goes, apparently there's something flying through space, and it's supposed to be. It's coming directly toward us, and that's kind of a wild thing to me because with as big as space is supposed to be, there's something coming directly toward us. It'll hit us in November, and it's not. They're not projecting that it's gonna go off path at all, or I don't know, just kind of crazy shit to me. But this is the world that we live in now. Good morning to Aaron on the board. And you know what? Everybody watched Happy Gilmore except for me. I was the one talking about watching it this weekend. I know Mike's seen it. Derpy's seen it.
Everyone but you, brother.
Oh, there you go. You're back.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I don't know, brother. My microphone don't like me. I think what it is big sports talk is trying to silence us, brother.
That's probably what it is. They're probably in cahoots with the 3-letter organizations. Richard also says time for some real hitting Tuesday. Should be fun to watch tomorrow.
Oh, I can't wait.
You ain't lying. Tomorrow, guys, they are full pads going back at it. Then again, once you go full pads, you know it's on, baby. One more thing before we get into it, Mike. The NFL is finding more than 1,000 players or 100 players and 24 club employees for selling Super Bowl tickets above face value. These players aren't making enough money, apparently, Mike, where they have to sell their tickets at above face value, which monetarily it's a smart thing. If you're a money maker, it's what you do. but apparently this isn't allowed, and over 100 players and over 24 club employees, Mike, they're being fined.
It's funny, the players and the employees can't do that, but the team executives can sell them at a marked up value. I find that funny. And who makes the most money? The team executives.
They get to call the shots. The rules are the rules are the
and
rules.
And then, I heard Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow and Myles Garrett were three of the big culprits. No Pittsburgh Steeler. TJ.
Are you serious? Or are you being serious?
I'm being facetious, man. I'm trying to get those guys suspended. Got to help the team, brother.
So there you go, Mike. Also, the in the women's football, the championship took place this weekend between the DC Divas, who beat the Pittsburgh Passion to make it there. They took on the St. Louis Slam. St. Louis beats them 26-14. Mike's 26-14 was the final score. The Slam wins the WFA championship. Oh, again with the microphone. Mike, I don't know what's going on, man. That's making me nuts. Now let's get into it. I'm going to start, Mike, while you work on that. Just continue to say random things, and I'll let you know if I hear you. Guys, so today, the Steelers do have the day off. Tomorrow, they'll be back at it with full pads. It's time to go. Some things went down over the past couple days at camp, guys. And again, we're going to get into all that. I'd love to get Mike's audio fixed here so we could.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah. Don't move. Whatever you're doing, don't move.
I'm not moving, brother. I cannot move from this position.
So apparently, Mike, Zach Frazier gets benched after poor performance. It's comes by way of bad snaps. Apparently at camp, day 2 started off rough with Zach Frazier having some bad snaps and him getting benched briefly. I don't think that it's any concern of ours to worry about Zach Frazier being benched for a long period of time. I think he'll be back just fine. I think it was just kind of a coach's way of saying, you got to do a little bit better.
Yeah, and the bad snaps have started to count against the offense, like on the scoring when they go 7-on-7 or 11-on-11. So the bad snaps are able to continue on, play or try again. Coach nixed that after a couple bad performances from Frazier. I like it. It's at the accountability.
Absolutely. Every once in a while you like to see it. You like to see some accountability. And like I said, I don't think there's any concern at all about Frazier this year. He jumps in as a rookie, takes the starting job when nasty Nate Herbig goes down last year and did just fine. And I think he's going to be fine. And again, I think this is just a coach's way of communicating to the players sometime. You got to do a little bit better.
Yep.
A few other things, Mike. Broderick Jones, a concern to many for his skills, and is he going to be able to pick up what it is he's going to be able to need to do to become a good third-year offensive lineman? Also, Mike, somebody that was drafted to have the team built around him in a sense because they wanted to build a good offensive line, they wanted a good defensive line, they wanted to do it through the draft, and here Broderick Jones was the first piece in that puzzle. Yeah. And Broderick Jones, Mike, he dealt well. Apparently, going into the draft, into camp, one of the quotes were at least that he's in the best shape of his life. Mike, and he goes down with minor injuries. Seems like a soft tissue injury. At practice over the weekend. Mike, in the best shape of his life. Listen. I have a lot of positive things I'm going to say about the Pittsburgh Steelers today. I really do. But I just wanted to start with Broderick because he's not one of them, Mike. I'm concerned about Broderick Jones. It's already. And, you can't help if you get hurt. But, again, you start to see when things happen for people. Yeah. It's this, it's that. It's a problem now, an injury. Mike, is he going to be our long-term tackle on the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I hope. I hope so. But as the Magic 8 Ball says, we're unsure right now at the moment, brother. Because it's he had the elbow injury last year that affected his punch, where he couldn't punch at full strength. Now it's the soft tissue injury. And he wasn't looking that sharp early in camp. So things are not looking good for Broderick Jones. This is supposed to be the year where he was supposed to skyrocket into being a starting left tackle, at least the top 10 ranked starting left tackle. Does not look good. But like I said earlier in camp, it's that first week. Guys can look bad that first week, and then, by the end of the camp, you're going, whew, okay, we panicked for nothing. Hopefully Broderick Jones has fallen into that mold where it's the shaky first week, and then he'll settle out because he needs to, because we need him. Otherwise, we got Dylan Cook starting at left tackle.
Well, I mean, Mike, I just have to ask myself, maybe Dylan Cook
He
might
might be better, brother.
he might be able to psychologically psych himself into playing the position where Broderick again he keeps having shortcoming after shortcoming.
Yeah.
Again, Mike, and the one of the things that really caught my attention that probably shouldn't have caught my attention is what he said prior to this weekend going into practice. Mike, he had said that he's focusing on keeping Aaron Rodgers upright this
Yeah.
season. That shouldn't be what really stands out into the point you're trying to make, because this should be your job that you're doing week in, week out, or at least you're trying to anyway. He comes out and makes it sound like it's this great revelation that he just came up with, or he had a long, meaningful talk, and this was what the results were.
Yeah.
My goal this year, guys, is to keep my quarterback upright, is what he said. This was concerning to me. Again, I feel that being third year in the league, again, building your offensive line around this gentleman, he should be a little bit further along than making that particular statement. But again, I don't know, Mike. I'm concerned about Broderick Jones, but I do have a lot of positive things to say about the Steelers today. It's not going to be a pile-on kind of day. It's going to be a good day. But Broderick Jones is one of my concerns, Mike.
Mine too. I think he's everyone's concern. And he's frustrating too, because like we said, if he can put it all together, dude's going to be a damn good left tackle in the league. You can see it there, and those bright spots shine, man. They are fucking phenomenal. But man, they're getting few and far between with Broderick Jones. Hopefully, he can get it turned around. It's still early in camp, but my God, it's getting concerning, bro.
More injuries throughout the first few days of camp. We also have the Jonnu Smith. He seems like he's going to be okay. He returned the other day, where him and Patterson were on a day-to-day. We did see Jonnu Smith get back in there. That's always a good sign. Also, Mike, injuries. Montana Lemonius Craig, he is also out with a soft tissue injury. And undrafted DJ Thomas Jones, the fullback, is out with a significant serious ankle foot.
Yeah. So, I heard for him a torn Achilles.
So for, the injury talk, Mike, I guess this is the way that you want it to go if there has to be injuries.
Yeah.
Because you don't want your starters, you don't want your big playmakers or big names having to deal with injuries, Mike. So I guess hearing these injuries are kind of a good thing.
Yeah, like, for the team, they're a good thing, because these guys aren't, counted on as being key players. It sucks for them, but, you got to take one for the team, boys.
So that's that. That's injuries.
That sucks too. Because I guess that fullback / tight end was looking pretty good, and he probably wouldn't have made the active roster, maybe a practice squad, and then to have that kind of like a torn Achilles. That's rough, man. It's rough.
Some big news though, guys. As the weekend started, the Pittsburgh Steelers sign a safety. Is it Justin Simmons? No. Who was the guy from Indianapolis you like, Mike?
Oh, Blackman, but he's down in, I think, with the Saints now.
Is it Blackman? No. It's Chucky Clark. That's right, everybody.
Clark, baby.
Chucky Clark is your new safety.
Mine Shorts agent.
And I got to be honest with you, he if you watch his tape, he doesn't impress, but he doesn't let you down either. He gets in, he gets his nose to the ball. He makes a lot of tackles around the line of scrimmage. And as far as, a lot of the things that I've seen in tape, he's around the line of scrimmage making plays and plays over the middle. He knocks a lot of balls down that are thrown to tight ends, which are very good things for this Pittsburgh Steelers defense. So we can certainly use moving forward, Mike. But Chuck Clark was signed on Friday, and he wasted no time getting to camp. I got to be honest with you. I'm reading, Mike, that we just, it was within 10 minutes of signing him or agreeing on a deal. And I look on another page, and there he is. He already has his uniform on. He's at camp.
Right. He's ready to go.
Walking down the ramp with his uniform and his helmet and his shirt and everything. So, Mike, Chuck Clark is the newest addition to this secondary, vastly improved secondary, Mike. I got to be honest with you. A lot of people are talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers secondary.
Yeah, like Chuck Clark, like, was he sleeping out at Latrobe? Just knew that we needed a guy. He was just there hanging out. He was like Willie Mays Hayes, just pulling up uninvited to go. Now I'm supposed to be here. That's what it felt like, brother. But yeah, Chuck Clark, you looking at his stats, he's a solid contributor, man. He's missed 5, 6 games his entire career. Not bad. He's the dependable guy. A lot of tackles. He's a good depth piece to have back there. I like it. It's a nice depth signing in this secondary. Whew, I think it's going to be a good secondary. And just going by the practice report of guys are making plays all over this secondary. Yes, it's still practice. They're in t-shirts and shorts, but that's what I want to see. These guys are being aggressive, breaking up the ball this year. Hopefully it carries over into the games, but I'm liking this secondary more than I've liked the secondary in a long time, brother. Probably since we had Troy, Ryan Clark, and those guys winning Super Bowls.
A lot to say about this secondary today, so just hang tight, everybody. We are going to dig in the secondary, Mike. A lot of things to say here. You're not the only one that likes the secondary, Mike. Deshaun Elliott, that's right, our other safety. He says he believes that the Steelers can have a top 5 defense, maybe even number 1. Here's my problem with this statement. If you are the highest paid defense year after year after year, as we are, I would expect that to be, and I hate to use this word for the lack of a better term, the standard. Yeah. I would certainly, if I'm paying you, if I'm paying to have the top players like we do, I expect this defense to be top 5, if not better.
Yeah, that's where they should be. And, granted, they didn't have a great counterpart within the past couple of years of that offense. They had a lot of expectations on them. They still finished within the top 10, but for that much money, like you said, top 5 is where they should be. And the way this secondary is shaping up, and then the way the linebacking core is shaping up, and the way that D-line's starting to shape up, top 5, I'm sorry, guys, that should be the minimum. Like you said, that should be the standard. That should be the baseline. They should be a top 5 defense in the NFL.
Absolutely. I think that they should base
and I think that's fair.
Everything they do, they should base off the fact, because again, why are we paying you all this money if you're not giving us that money's worth of work back? And if you were the highest paid players, the work back that we should be getting should be, as you said, at the highest level. So I agree. I think that this defense, Mike, and I hope that this defense is one of the top 5 defenses. And I got to be honest, Mike, up until a certain point last year, we had a very good defense. We were letting up the least amount of points right with the LA Chargers at a certain point in the season. For a team that didn't have a great counterpart as an offense, I think the Steelers really held their own. It just got to the point last year where you just can't depend on your defense every single game in, game out, like we did, and they got exhausted when it came down to that time, to the final 4 games of the season and then the playoff game. Mike, the defense could have very well been they were beat at that point, because again, Mike, they weren't playing good defense. They were keeping everybody to low points. So how much do you expect? You want them to win every game, but the reality is the defense is not going to win every game for you.
Yeah, expectation and reality are obvious, a lot of times don't come close to each other, because I do kind of put some unreal expectations on certain players and on position groups, because, well, you know what, that's what comes with the territory. We're going to want you to do that and more. So it's sometimes it's not fair, but that's the reality of the situation. But I think this defense, multiple playmakers at every position group. D-line looks like Harmon might be a player, might be like, we got a guy. Linebacking core, you're getting with Watt, what you're getting with Highsmith. Now you're starting to see, last year Peyton Wilson in the middle was making some key interceptions, making some key plays. Playmaker there. It looked like Jack Sawyer was, him and Fatano have been having some fun going up against each other, winning some, losing some. Sawyer might make his mix in there. Then at that corner with Jalen Ramsey, he's going to make plays. Safeties, Juan Thornhill has been all over the reports for pass breakup. So there's multiple playmakers at every position at all 3 levels of this defense too. I'm excited to see it. So top 5 should be a minimum with this defense.
We can't outsmart ourselves, because again, Mike, at the end of the day, we're getting all excited about some of these performances early. When the Cleveland Browns have Kenny Pickett, he's doing really well over there, and so obviously you can't really go entirely on things about. But as things are moving forward, Mike, I got to say again, things are looking good. And one of the concerns that I do have, Mike, mine is, everyone is going on about this defensive line, how good the defensive line is. The defensive line is my Achilles heel on the defense for a couple reasons.
Yeah, that's fair.
because our nose tackle hasn't lived up to his standards in Benton.
Mm-hmm.
And Cam Hayward, Mike, is another year older.
Mm-hmm.
You're going up against these good teams that are in the Super Bowl, teams that make it to the playoff, make it far into the playoffs, just successful teams. And we're gonna hope that Cam Hayward has another good year in the tank. Where last year, I think he pretty much, and we say it on the show all the time, I think he overachieved last year compared to where he was 3 seasons prior to that. Mike, the defensive line is my concern. On one hand, the rookie, that's a great thing. But on the other hand, he is a rookie. You're going to, hopefully not run into too many, but I think you'll hit rookie mistakes along the way and issues. So for those three reasons, on those three particular guys who's going to be starting, Mike, that's the reason why I say, for me personally, the defensive line is the weakest link. But again, nationally, the defensive line is getting all kind of praise. And I think it just, to be honest, I think it's coming off of Cam having that big season last year. They threw him back in the mix of him being one of the better players again, which I don't think that he is. I don't think he's terrible. He is what he is, but he's an older player at this point. And again, this is a league of 22 to 25-year-olds. So that's a concern. Again, Keanu Benton, Mike, that's a concern for he never, as I said, never really
he didn't make that jump last year.
He didn't make the jump that you wanted to see from him. And again, the other guy is a rookie who we're expecting big things from. But if I had to take a group of guys from this team and say that they were my concern, they were my weakest link, for me personally, it would be that defensive line, which isn't good because, again, this is where your run stops and this is where you're getting pressure in the passing game.
And this is what we saw down the stretch, brother, the D-line breaking down to where teams were able to just pound the rock against us. The next thing you know, linebackers, safeties are scraping in, and then guess what? Over the top's open. And, that's what Baltimore, man, you just saw them. They just pushed that front three, front four around like it was nothing.
Yeah.
And so that's why they went back and reinvested in some guys in the draft and some free agents. So my hope is that there are going to be a lot of rotations coming in, keeping these guys fresh. Rotate early so they're fresh later in the season. So
they can't rotate. Mike, they can't rotate because you're the guy that's going to be yelling, why is this guy on the sideline in the second quarter?
Hey, my hypocrisy knows no bounds, brother. You know this. But you know what I mean. Like at key times, you can't have it on a key situation. Cam's on the sideline, sucking air, yucking it up with the boys. He has to be out there. But in key situations, hey, this drive, we're going to let these guys start in. And then, oh, shit, man, they're getting kind of close to our center of the field. All right, starters, you're getting back in there. You've had enough of a break. Get in there and show them what's up. But this week with the pads on, I think it's going to be real interesting to see how both lines perform now that pads are on. Now these guys are going to be hitting. I want to see how both lines perform. That's going to then you can kind of see how well everyone's performing. Harmon was just squeaking through the lines. That's easy to do in t-shirts and shorts. Let's see it at this level in pads, going up against guys who have done it before.
Good morning to R on the board. RB says Benton will never take a jump playing nose tackle. Benton is a 3-4 end time for Cam to be an actual leader and move the nose tackle. I would love to see Cam play some nose. I don't think it could hurt. Good morning to RB. Mike, I'm going to go on about this defense here for a little bit because as I'm not that sold on the defensive line, I'm very sold, I think, at this point on the secondary. As you mentioned earlier, this is one of the more talented secondaries, I'd say, as a Steelers team we've had in some time. And this is Jalen Ramsey's defense. Whether you like it, whether you don't, I'm willing to hand him the keys because, Mike, I'm going to be honest, his play is very aggressive. And the things that I'm hearing about, they're saying that his Jalen Ramsey-led defense is playing aggressive and angry. And this is where I always think that the Steelers do fall short as well. A lot of times when you go out to handle business, you lose some of the emotion of it. And a lot of times in sports, emotion plays a big role. And look at any Ray Lewis-led defense whenever he was in Baltimore and guys like this. So I think that he's one of these guys that's going to be able to ride a line of emotion to get this defense playing at a high level to where I think that it could play. But if you have somebody like Jalen Ramsey playing that Ray Lewis role, I guess you could call it, for lack of a better term, I think that that's a good thing. It gets the guys fired up. It gets you fired up the same way that Renegade would get you fired up as a player on the field, and you're seeing the highlights and you're hearing the song and people are just freaking out and swinging their towels. It's that same adrenaline rush And I think it could go a long way, Mike. And it's been quite some time since we've had a vocal leader on defense. I'd say maybe Jay Peasy Sr. might have been the last one to at that level. But Mike, I got to be honest, for this defense to be playing aggressive and angry, and I hope it continues past camp, because that's obviously a big thing. You can't just do it in camp and then have it stop. But if he could carry this leadership style over into the regular season, Mike, we might see some very special things out of this defense this year. This defense is built to do special things.
Yeah, and now that, hopefully everyone will be healthy, they can do what they wanted to do last year, move guys around places. And like you said, if they're playing fast, they're playing aggressive, that's when a defense is firing on all cylinders. When they're not thinking, they're just going out there making plays and just doing what they're supposed to do. I'm looking forward to it. And like, this is going to be a physical defense. There's hitters on all three levels of this defense. I can't wait to see these guys start jacking people up. And I'm kind of worried about that too. The NFL being flag happy. How many unnecessary roughness penalties are we going to get called for on us on this defense? And they're just going to be good, clean, hard hits, because these guys, like you said, they're flying around. They're ready to go. And this defense, like you said, in top 5 this year.
Hey, you make a couple of those big hits early, Mike. You make a couple.
You scare people.
Well, exactly. You make a couple of those hits, even if they throw a flag. People are going to look at the Steelers and say, you know what? This is the team you got to watch. You can't go in there without your head on a swivel. You can't go in there. So, setting that precedent early in the season, even if it does cost you a penalty or two, you don't want it to be something that's deciding a game. Say we're playing the Jets and we're up 28 to 9 or something in the third quarter. Go plow somebody. Get it out there. We're not playing around. And again, as you said, I mean, that goes a long way, Mike. It kind of puts the fear into teams, and I think that's what the Steelers need back. It's not a 70s mindset. It's again, this is what you see with the Ravens a lot of time. Not recently, because their defense hasn't been great, but as of late and in early 2000s, you can look back to teams like Tampa Bay that got it done with a great defense. So if this defense could hit on all cylinders like we're talking about, and Jalen Ramsey could get these guys to really buy into what he's saying and doing, Mike, I think that the sky is the limit for this defense. And again, if you pay this defense the most money in the league, I expect them to be top ranked. Are you going to be perfect ever? No, that's just not the reality. That's not life. That's not the world. But to be at a very high level, to be in every game, and the fact that we might not have to carry the offense this year on the defense's back, that could go a long way as well. Mike, and one other thing I do like about Jalen Ramsey is what he said a couple days ago. Jalen Ramsey said this. He says he doesn't care where he plays as long as he gets to make an impact. I don't care where I'm at, cornerback, safety, slot, but at the same time, I think I'm getting paid what I am getting paid, not to be in the position to affect the game and be in certain spots. So basically, Mike, he's saying, I'm ready to give it to, and this is something that I'm noticing about this Steeler team. Everybody seems to be buying in to a successful season. It's not only Jalen saying this. I mean, this is what you want to hear from a player, especially that you're giving a lot of money to, but it's very encouraging to hear that, because again, Mike, there's other guys that maybe you wouldn't hear these kind of things. So this is encouraging. Then you look on the offensive side of the ball, the way that the quarterback is getting along. He's making a point to get along with everybody, know everybody, meet everybody as people. You feel something coming together with this team, Mike. You just hope that the coaching and the players can keep it together as the season moves on, because this is the kind of commitment to one another I think the players need to have. And I think if you believe in each other and they believe in themselves, like we're seeing, again, Mike, there's a lot of players thrown into this situation. You didn't know what kind of results we were going to get, but what you were seeing early on in camp is good signs. Everybody is seeming like they're all in, and it almost feels like they're all going to want to not let each other down.
Yeah. Doesn't seem to be a lot of me guys out here.
Right.
It's a lot of like, all right, what are we going to do for the team to win? This is why certain players were traded. This is why certain players weren't re-signed. It's a whole cohesive unit right now is what we're seeing. And, I'm liking that. We don't have a locker room headaches. Potentially we might have one at the quarterback room, but, so far so good right there. It seemed like, Aaron Rodgers is a completely bought in. Everyone else is bought in on the team. I can't wait to see what this team can do, because sky's the limit for this team. They have a lot of talent at a lot of positions. So especially on that defense side of the ball, I can't wait to see them start fucking hitting people.
Let's jump on the board. Mike Richard says, I never again want to see the Ravens manhandle the Steelers defense like they did last season. You know, it hurt. I hated it. Everybody hated it. But I got to be honest with you. When they drafted Lamar years back, I thought that there would certainly be more times that we would have these kind of games where we just couldn't stop the Baltimore Ravens because he's such a threat. Mike, till last season, and probably in that game in the playoffs, maybe the second game, you never really got that from Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. You never felt that they just came out and dominated our defense. As a matter of fact, we've dominated them, winning 8 games in a row coming into last season, and again, just not letting Lamar Jackson become the killer for us. And I've been very surprised at that. And you know what, Richard, I don't want to see it ever again either. But I think for what it is, I think we're holding down we're weathering the storm with this team. And again, this guy is an MVP candidate, MVP every year. His name is in there, and they don't stop building that team. Like, this team is doing a lot. They constantly do a lot like what we're doing this offseason. Grab Jair Alexander, grab this guy, throw him in there. Hey, DeAndre Hopkins is out there, throw. So they're constantly building and trying to get better as well, Mike. So just the fact that that we always keep that level.
Yeah.
That things level with Baltimore, I think, is impressive to begin with. Again, they're a very good team. They're us.
Yeah, they more or less, when they came in, Ozzie Newsome modeled the team building after the Steelers, and it hasn't stopped. Because why stop? Both teams have been successful. Both teams have won Super Bowls in the past 20 years. So, they do something right. And both teams are competitive. But, yeah, if we get manhandled by them again this year on the defensive side of the ball, I'm going to be extremely disappointed.
RB says, I heard from a friend, I trust that Rock Taylor has nice footwork for a guy his size and was really good at attacking the ball at the high point. You know what? I expect some good things from Rock. I think that he's supposed to be pretty good, Mike. I mean, as far as bringing him along and making him a player that we could use regularly is one thing, but as of right now, in the first 3 days of practice, I'm hearing the same things.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing too. Like, he was, especially like the last 2 days of practice, he was standing out, making a lot of catches. And when they signed him as the undrafted free agent, there was hope that he could potentially make the team or sneak in onto the practice squad. I mean, he has talent, so we'll see if they can maximize it. And the Steelers are good at finding wide receivers, and they're good at finding undrafted guys that can make an impact on the team.
RB follows it up by saying, I get sick of hearing TJ being labeled as a hard-nosed or a tough Steeler player. TJ is a bit of a wuss, in my honest opinion. Lewin spit in his face, and he did nothing. Bud Dupree had to chase Lewin to the bus. Here's my opinion on TJ. I expect a good season from him this year. And why I say it is because it's contract year, and every year that we had this situation coming off a contract, he's always had a pretty good season, Mike. Again, last time around, he had 22.5 sacks, which is tied for the all-time lead in the NFL. So, do I feel like you do about TJ RB? I do, but I also feel that I think that this is going to be a big year for him. And again, if this defense brings it all together and plays, how you're kind of getting the vibe that they're going to play, I think you're going to get a big year from TJ. They're moving TJ around this year. You never really seen that before, lining him up in different spots. That's, again, if I'm preparing for TJ and he's coming from one spot every play of the game, he's a lot easier to prepare for than if he's lining up in gaps, if he's on the other side of the field, so again, you got to like that. It almost feels like the team is on their best behavior in a sense, Mike, because this Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers, again, we had a Hall of Famer last year. So, you have to really carefully word how be careful how you word this, but it almost seems like Aaron Rodgers, he comes in with such a professional mindset. The guy was how many time MVP? It almost seems like the team and Coach Tomlin wants to be on their best behavior and their best level of everything for Aaron. That's just my opinion. Mike, he's came here. He's really, again, it feels to me, I'm not saying that, that he's a boss figure or anything to anybody. I'm just saying, for some reason, the team is really gravitating to these ideas with Aaron Rodgers on this team right now, offense and defense.
Yeah, and like Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers, they have that mutual respect for one another, and you can see it in the way they talk about each other. And then the players are probably feeding off that, especially like the younger guys. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. And like the older guys are probably like, oh man, we haven't had this feeling since we had Ben here. Or we have a guy that we can trust. Everyone
Right.
trusts. The coaching staff's trust to allow us to go do our jobs. So
Mike,
we don't
what
have
does
to
he
be
have?
excited.
What does he have that Russell Wilson was lacking this
Hmm.
time last year? 3 days in camp, we were all excited. We thought, hey, you know what? We have a future Hall of Fame quarterback coming to town with Russell Wilson. We have a backup in Justin Fields. This can't be bad. Where's it different this year than last year?
Well, Russ got hurt and missed all of the beginning of camp. It missed that time to get out there and work
Well,
with
let's
the
take the
offense,
injury
too.
aside and let's just talk about Maine. Going into the camp with those particular players opposed to the players that we're going into this year, Russell, Aaron Rodgers. Let's take it back 3 days and say that, or how many ever days before you hit the sled. What's the difference between the leadership between last year's quarterback and this year's quarterback?
Russ, for lack of a better word, is corny.
What does that mean? I've heard that. I
He's
don't
just a goofy,
understand.
corny guy. He says all the boilerplate stuff. He says all the quotes that you would, in Madden we generated for your character to be the goody player on the team. That's what he says. Aaron Rodgers isn't afraid to speak his mind. Aaron Rodgers isn't afraid to tell you how he really feels. He'll be political about it, be nice to you about it, but you'll know walking away like, oh, he was kind of disappointed in me. Oh, he wants me to do
He's
better.
just a better leader.
Yeah, he has that better interpersonal.
Yeah,
and he has a better reputation as dealing with guys around the league than Russ did too. A lot of those Seattle guys did not like Russ for the longest time. So that stuff goes around the league. Players talk. They're like a knitting circle. You need a rumor, they'll tell you about anyone and everything. So I think he came in with those negatives against him, where Aaron Rodgers had negative against him, but players were like, he can still get it done on the field, and he's a 4-time MVP. Russ is seen as being carried by that defense. Aaron was not being seen carried by his defenses, so that goes into that as well. So I think players just kind of respect Aaron Rodgers more throughout the league than they do Russ.
On the board, S. Dad says, let's go Steelers. I want to say to S. Dad, welcome to the show and welcome to the board. Great seeing you. Mark Malone says, Watt power, baby. S. Dad says, TJ got paid. He better ball out every play. I'm right there with you. And I think, S. Dad, I think that this is what we're going to get this year because, again, and I'm just going off of history. Last contract here, he came out got 22 and a half sacks. That's, super encouraging to know, believe, and kind of stick behind this theory. We will find out, only time will tell. But again, I expect if he could stay healthy, a big season from TJ Watt. And again, it's a different hole, the defense, as it's been over the past. I think they put a lot of pieces in, Mike. Again, replacing half of this football team in this offseason to to what it is now from where it was last year. You're hoping that those are the changes that needed to be made to get over that hump, to be able to move to the next level of where we want to be. And again, that's obviously winning in the postseason. So we will find that out.
We got some breaking news, brother, from your Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
This is from Cordella Patterson himself.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking news: Pittsburgh Steelers release old, washed-up Cordella Patterson on his day off.
Well, you had to know that was coming.
Yeah. He was injured out all year. We made the signings that we made. You can see it coming. It's just now been made official.
Cordell Patterson is not a Steeler anymore. Breaking news. There you go, guys. How you going to get fired on your day off?
You stealing boxes? He's running out of Gainwell's room with carrying boxes.
Exactly.
Trying to steal his shit, get his roster spot back.
S-Dad says, never seen the Steelers pay so much in one off season. It better produce a playoff push or Tallman is gone. You know what? So much is said in what you just said. So there's a lot of things in what you just said. I agree. This is so new to us in Pittsburgh, the way that Kahn and company is handling the free agency, and it's fun. But as you said, you want results. You can't go out and get the same results that you had 4 years ago if you go out and do all the work that we did this year. Obviously, spending the money, bringing players in, and maybe at the end of the day, it will show a lot of people, if that does happen, that Tomlin is the problem. But again, guys, let's give this team a chance. This team is again, Mike, there's something about what's going on with the Steelers you got to feel good about. If you're following, through the offseason like we did, all the moves, the draft, the way things are going at camp, all the additions, the way players are playing at camp, the way players are buying into each other at camp. You have the big draft in Pittsburgh after this football season. Mike, there might be something magic in Pittsburgh this year. There might be something magic on the North Shore. I got to be honest, this is a vibe we had last year. We had the new quarterbacks coming. We had a vibe that things were going to be better, and it finished 10-7, the same that it did the year before and the year before. But there's something about this team, Mike. They're buying into each other. They're believing in each other. They want to show up as the Caleb Johnson, rookie running back. He wants to keep, making himself look really good because the guy's great, and he's getting out there and he's trying to show it. And we're all seeing it in these receivers, in the defense, the secondary. Again, the aggressive, angry mindset of the secondary behind the Jalen Ramsey-led defense. Mike, you got to like what you're seeing. Again, I'm feeling more optimistic this year than I was going into the past few seasons, but I think it's rightfully so. As S-Dad said, you'd never really see him pay out money to build a team like this. And that's why you got to say this feels like something different. Hopefully we get different results.
Yeah, they've been building for 3 years to this moment. Ever since Omar officially took control of the team, you can tell that things have changed in Pittsburgh. They've been trying to build and build and build. And, there were some hiccups along the way, some signings that didn't work out, but more signings than not have worked out well. That's why I'm optimistic about all the big money guys and the big name guys we brought in this year. These guys, maybe some of them may be long in the tooth, but they still have productive years left in them. And you saw it last year, and you're seeing it now in training camp. These guys look good, specifically Jalen Ramsey's looking lights out. So I'm loving the way this team has been built. It's been building, like I said, for 3 years now since Omar and Weedle took over, and it seems like the guys are seeing it. The guys that are still here that survived that rebuild, they're ready to go, and especially that defense flying around. Keep that same energy, because we saw that defense amped up in practice all week leading up to the Ravens playoff game, and then we saw what happened. They shit the bed.
Things are going to be different. We're going to fix the flaws. We're going to make So you're right. You have to get out on the field in between those lines and make it happen. S-Dad also says, he goes, Aaron is in the wrong generation. He's a wannabe hippie from the 60s. Yeah, I agree. And then he follows this up by saying, I'm optimistic, but it all hinges on protecting Aaron Rodgers so he doesn't get hurt. I'll be at week 1 versus the Jets. Be ready for many blitzes. I got to be honest with you. You're right. You're right. It's not going to be any secret that the people are going to attack his backside. We have Broderick Jones protecting his backside, and people around the league aren't stupid. They see what we see on tape, and we really, that's my concern is left tackle. And again, if I have to pick a group of guys that is my concern, which a lot of people are giving the credit to at this point in the offseason, I say the defensive line, who a lot of people are giving praise to, is my Achilles heel. Again, Mike Keanu Benton. Can he do the job at nose tackle that needs to be done? An aging Cam who had a great year last year. Can he put 2 of these? Could he put 2 of those years together? And again, Derek Harmon, as high as he's praised, is still a rookie. So my defensive line would be my Achilles heel at this point. On the offense, my player would be Broderick Jones, and I'm kind of a little off, but still feeling optimistic, Mike. Again, there's so much going on in this team. You could either do one of 2 things. You could help and encourage and try to help these players along and these positions along and these groups along, or you're going to have spots that you're going to have to try to camouflage throughout the season. And let's hope that's not the case, because, again, these people get paid a lot of money around the league to scout and know what other teams are doing. So I hope for the first, Mike, and we can improve. Guys, there's only been 3 days of practice so far in training camp. Again, pads tomorrow. The guys are off today. No camp today, but they come back tomorrow with pads. And this is when you really start to see, and this is really when you start to see a little bit more injuries come along too, Mike. So let's hope they keep that at a minimum, but can get on pace with pads tomorrow.
Yeah, this is, like you said, this is where you start to get more injuries once they hit pads. Guys haven't hit each other in a long time, but hopefully they come out healthy and the injury bug is over, and those poor guys at the bottom of the depth chart took one for the team, brother. But I can't wait till these guys start hitting. I want to see how both lines look with pads on.
And that exactly. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell prior to having pads. We're gonna learn. We're gonna learn some more this week. No two ways about it. Estad saying we'll need to use tight ends to chip to help Jones. And you know what? I'm seeing a lot of these. They're showing the running backs blocking yesterday. I thought Jalen looked good, and I thought the rookie Caleb Johnson was looking good blocking as well. I mean, of course, you don't want to have to rely on this. You'd like to have a weapon out there, maybe running out into the flat or something, opposed to doing another man's job. So let's hope that Broderick Jones could continue to maybe again. He's dealing with a soft tissue injury. Get healthy, get his ass back in there, Mike. At some point, we need this guy to play good, to some NFL level football to play his position. It's so unfortunate that he is the backside tackle, Mike.
Right.
You don't want that to be the guy that's
No.
having the issues, but that's where we're at.
Yeah, it's worrisome, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. I'm
I
going to
am
hold
too.
out hope because there are ways to scheme protection over there, and it's not like he's like a turnstile over there. It's just you just don't know when he's going to be the turnstile and when he's going to be the brick wall.
One more thing on defense, Mike, and then we will jump over to the offensive side of the ball. JPJ, Joey Porter Jr., Mike, on matching up with DK Metcalf, who he has to match up with day-to-day at practice. Mike, he says that DK Metcalf is a freak of nature. Mike, even at the age that he is, and I mean, we know that, you can tell the guy's a freak of nature by looking at him, obviously, but, he's been in the league. He's not a rookie. He's not a young kid anymore. So to be where he is at this point in his career, Mike, and then also you move to a different setting as well. Mm-hmm. So you have this guy who's basically been a freak of nature his whole career. Now he comes to this new team. They have a new life. They have a new energy. They have let's build this team. Let's do good. Let's win some games in the playoffs, possibly win a championship. Mike, this freak of nature, DK Metcalf, I'm super excited to see him play. And this is how Joey Porter Jr. Labels him as a freak of nature. Mike, I guess that's going to segue into the offense because it was something said by the defense about the offense.
Yeah.
But and I'm going to get into Estad's question in 1 second because he's asking about wide receiver too. Mike, DK Metcalf, what kind of season are you expecting from him?
I'm expecting a really good year. I don't think he's going to have 1,500 yards, anywhere from like 900 to 1,200 yards, probably about 10 touchdowns. I will take that out of him because this type of the offense, I think we're going to run that ball is going to be spread out a lot to a lot of different guys. So his numbers aren't going to be up there for like where his pay is, but that's just going to be based on how the offense is and the ball's going to be thrown around to a lot of different people. But defenses are going to have to respect him because he's not just a deep threat. He can run those quick slants and take him to the house, and people have to respect him for that. George, you had to just worry about him taking doing the long ball. That's all we used him for. Now DK Metcalf, he has a whole route tree he can run, whereas George was limited, and George would be lazy on plays. DK does not take plays off. He might go beat up a DB down the field, but he's not going to take a play off. So I'm expecting good things out of him. But the production, you look at a stat line like, oh my God, that's all he did. But you're going to look at the overall offense. A lot of guys are going to be elevated because of him.
It's a long way from Deontay Johnson walking past a fumbled football in a live play.
Yeah, he will not do that. I mean, we've all seen the video numerous times of him running down. Who was it? Buda Baker, I think it was, to stop him on that fumble recovery. So, yeah, DK's not going to quit on a play.
S-Dad says, do you trust Calvin Austin as wide receiver too? I don't at all. I'm going to be honest with you, Mike. I think this is another issue that we're going to have. It might look okay on paper, but once the season starts and matchups happen and people are putting their ones on our ones and our two on our two and blah, 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 I think eventually that's going to be a problem. However, I think they're banking a lot on Roman Wilson on that side, Mike, and also using Jonnu Smith in different ways, possibly putting him at wide receiver, which I'm sure they will plenty, whether it be in a slot, however they do it, Mike. But this is another area that I'm not super comfortable with. And if we're talking a team that we hope could win some games in the playoffs, and some of the even crazier suggestions, obviously, Mike, I don't know if you could say that this is how you want your team to do those things. This is how you want to be built. A lot of areas, yes. But Calvin Austin III is wide receiver 2, not so much for me.
If Calvin Austin was 3 inches taller and about 15 pounds heavier, yes. He put on that double move against Porter in practice, blew right by him. I went back and watched some of his stuff. Against the Jets, he made Sauce Gardner look like a fool. He beat him on a quick little double step move at the on the goal line. It's just I think who was the quarterback in that game, Rodgers or not Rodgers, Fields or Wilson underthrew him the football and it would have been an easy touchdown. So he has the route running ability and the footwork to do it. It's just his size, and that's what sucks for him. Otherwise, I would completely trust him on the outside because his route running is now matching up with his quickness and speed. His footwork is amazing. I just if he was just a little bit taller and a little bit thicker, I'd trust him. But I think we're going to see Roman Wilson out there.
Estad makes a good point. He says got to use the middle of the field. DK will get doubled a lot, and and if DK does get doubled, I mean, obviously we're gonna have to, go to Calvin, and we're gonna have to go to Roman, and we're gonna have to go to all these guys,
Freiermuth and Jonnu.
And so I mean, these are things that we can't just brush off and say, you know what, the team looks good on paper. Let's So that's a very good point, Estad. I think that. Again, teams that prepare for us look at things like this, and they could certainly exploit. So we have to find a way to counter that as well. Can he be productive? Absolutely. Is he one of your top 2 showcase receivers? I just don't know. And to say that we could get all that production, we're going to lean a lot on a guy that hasn't played really any football in the NFL. Talking about Roman Wilson. Could be another concern of mine, Mike, but we're keeping things positive today. It's the day off. We'll get back to giving our true thoughts tomorrow. No, obviously, Mike, I think that this team could be very good, but there's certainly a lot of holes along the way. And as I said at the top of the hour, it's never going to be perfect.
It's not going to be perfect. No roster is 100% perfect.
Let me ask you this. Let's say we're 5 games into the season, and it's obvious that the wide receiver 2 spot is a issue. And we're seeing DK being doubled, and Calvin just doesn't have the whatever. Will you be upset that we didn't go out and grab another name, grab a Amari Cooper? I mean, these are guys that we said that we would be interested in all along.
Yeah, I'd be a little upset if the guys on our roster don't pan out. Yeah, you want to put your faith in the guys that are here. But if it doesn't pan out, and then it's like a long conversation of like, okay, you might have to move on from the GM because that'd be 2 years in a row you had the same issue.
Yeah,
even though he made a lot of good moves, still a glaring need.
Listen, no, I don't think that you
like. Trust me, I'm not on the fire Omar train, but
I'm on the total opposite end. Listen, I think if things don't work out, I want him to make more moves. I don't think that what he's doing is bad at all. I think there's a lot of wheels in motion. A lot of things have to go right, and a lot of people are at work here. So to go after the GM at this point, I think would be insane.
Yeah, and don't forget, like people tend to forget, we're just going to trust a guy who's never done anything in the NFL. Like go back and look. Juju's rookie year, he had a damn good rookie year. Chase Claypool had a damn good rookie year. Deontay Johnson had a damn good rookie year. So this organization can find receivers and plug them in right at the number 2 spot receiver. So it's not.
But then they all go. Then they all lose their mind.
Hey! As long as Roman Wilson has a good second year here with us, I'm okay. He can lose his mind next year.
Good second year, he didn't have anything in his first year.
Well, that's what I'm saying. In the second year, that's what I'm saying. Like, so
Mike, there's about as much tape of me on in the NFL as there is on him right now. You know what I mean?
Same thing with the guys I just mentioned that had really good rookie years. So it's not far-fetched to say Roman Wilson can have that same type of success because we've seen it with this organization and players that were drafted. So I can see why they want to trust him out there because they have a track record of finding guys who can do it.
Well, that and they didn't. None of these guys had a season-ending first-year injury, which I think you got to put that into it as well. Mike, the guy hasn't really played, so there's a lot that goes into that. I don't disagree with you. Let's move forward on the board here. Kenneth, what's up, brother? Kenneth on the board is saying if Austin is used right, he can't be guarded. He will probably use Wilson with Austin or Austin with 3 tight end sets. Listen, I think that I'm just having a hard time understanding if Calvin Austin III is more of a novelty or if he is a solid guy that teams are going to say, this guy, of course they're going to talk about his speed. There's no 2 ways about it. He's like Mighty Mouse, or what was that one mouse? Speedy Gonzalez. But at the end of the day, I mean, his size really limits him. And I hope that isn't a problem. And again, even guys like Tyreek Hill, the guy's a cheetah. He can run, run as fast as anything. but still, there's times at his size, it kind of boxes him in. You would like to see a little bit more size, but he is what he is, Mike. And again, this is the guy that we did steal from Baltimore in the draft, and they wanted him. And you've seen great things. I mean, the guy's made great plays since he's been here. But again, is he enough to be that number 2? You just want a consistent guy who's going to just make a catch every time it's thrown to him, get out of bounds, take the tackle, take the hit, get back up, get in the huddle. Is this guy have the physical ability to do that, Mike? Again, he's such a little guy. These guys are monsters. They're coming at you full speed, over the top, aiming to take your head off. That's one of my concerns about him. I hope that he can continue to stay healthy throughout this whole process, Mike, because I think skill-wise, he has it.
Oh, yeah, he has the skills. Like last year, he had 36 catches, 548 yards, 4 touchdowns, converting 18 first downs for us. So there's production there. If he can get that 500 up to 700 yards,
he didn't have anybody else, but go ahead.
I know, right? But if he gets up to 700 yards, 6 touchdowns, that's good for a guy where we picked him for a 4th round pick, for his size, for what he brings to the team. 700 yards, 6 touchdowns, I will take that out of that guy. That could be your potential number 3 receiver. Or we have a lot of different tight ends that we'll use too. So until we see how the offense is actually deployed, it's hard to judge, okay, who's going to be that outside receiver opposite DK Metcalf? How are they going to be used? What skill set are we looking for? So in a typical, when you're building your offense, you want that monster like DK. You want someone a little bit bigger than Calvin Austin on the outside, but there is a role for Calvin Austin on this offense. So
no 2 ways about it. Absolutely.
And they found a way to use them last year. I'm sure this year they'll find more ways to use them.
Let's see. S-Dad said Jonnu may be our secret wide receiver too, like you said. You know what? Going ahead, 2 comments. S-Dad also says, I think Jonnu was their solution for wide receiver too. That's more than likely the situation. At this point, it seems like they're going to try to, make shift. But my problem is this. If you go all in, don't go halfway all in. You know what I'm saying? They went out and they got all these players, and they got this guy, and they brought this guy from the Super Bowl winning Eagles, and you bring in DK, and you bring in this. If you go all in, go all in. Don't leave one position to sit back and say, oh, if we would have just taken care of that one position, this wouldn't have been a problem, and we could have won this playoff game in advance. I think if you go all in, which they've shown that they are, you still have money. I think if you go all in, don't go halfway all in, is my concern. And I think that's what we're seeing here with this wide receiver position and what S-Dad is saying. I think ultimately, Mike, that it's probably going to be Jonnu is going to be the solution for the wide receiver too. Again, can it work? Yeah, it can work. But I just don't want them to outthink themselves here. Well, let's fool everybody. Let's get a guy that's a tight end, and we'll use him as our wide receiver, and it'll be different, and blah, blah, blah. Don't over, keep a lot of things the way that it's supposed to be. I don't know if we're in position to overthink ourselves at this point, Mike. We are, again, a very average team coming into this season. You hope we make big jumps. I think we're going to make big jumps. We made the moves to make big jumps, but I just don't want the Steelers to outfool themselves and try to do too much, more than what we're capable of doing at this point.
Yeah, and I think if you're going to see a receiver signed, it's going to be once those cut downs start, and then who's on the move that's surprisingly available. If they don't go out and get someone like, I hate to say it, but like Gabe Davis or even Amari Cooper, one of those 2 guys. If they don't get one of those 2 guys, look for a trade before cut down day, or like right after cut down day, they'll pick someone up.
Back on the board, S-Dad says, I get the feeling Wilson is not NFL ready. Injuries aside, I think they see something off about. I agree. Something just doesn't feel right with Wilson at this point. They're going on and on and on about Caleb Johnson. They're going on and on about Jalen Ramsey. They're going on and on. And again, this Roman Wilson thing, Mike, it just kind of, it's out there. People are, again, this wide receiver position is a problem. It might be a problem again this year. We go into last season with George Pickens as the 1, didn't really have a number 2. And we're back in that situation with a couple of different possibilities, actually. You bring in a tight end. Maybe you could use him. You have a guy coming back from injury who's never really played in the NFL. We could use him. So you see what I'm saying? There's a certain incompleteness about this with me, Mike, to where I just at that particular position, is one of the positions that I'm still a little concerned
Yeah, that's fair.
Let's see. Dad says, head issues aside, AB was so special. He's sorely missed from production point of absolutely best receiver that we've ever had. And isn't it crazy how kind of fast he came and went?
Him and Bell too, man. It was like blink of an eye. They were here and gone.
You wish we could have got so much more out of their tenure here, because the talent that they had, you wish that you had. Teams wish that they had, and we had it. We had all of it. We had a running back, quarterback, and receiver. Every great team has those three things, right? And we had them all. Just feels like that time went so fast, man. Wasted time.
Yeah, and then like what? Bell was hurt for missed a playoff game or two. AB missed a playoff game. There's always something on that with one of those three guys. There was something wrong with them, one or two of them.
Well, even if you have two of them, you should still be fine, Mike. A lot of teams don't have two guys of those caliber players, and they still get things done. But anyway, that's the past. Let's stick with the future here, Mike. A couple of things about the Steelers offense. Let me go back to last year real quick. This was something I picked up over the weekend. Mike Williams. Remember Mike Williams, the number 2 wide receiver that we brought in last year? Mike Williams, this is what I read over the weekend. He was practically begging for more opportunities, Mike, on this football team last year to make plays and to be involved. And for whatever reason, he just wasn't given those opportunities. What do you make of that?
I don't know. It's just weird. They brought him in. Like when he was in there, he made plays. I just don't know why Arthur Smith and the team didn't use him more. He
came in and made the game-winning catch against Washington in the very first game he was here. Like that was the first game he was here. He catches an over-the-shoulder pass against Washington at the end of the game to beat the NFC championship contender, Washington Commanders. You thought we had something, and then
I thought we did too, man. I thought we did. It was just weird, man. But now look at him. He's now retired from the NFL.
Yeah, he retired this year, so good on him.
Maybe he didn't have anything left in the tank, and we thought he did.
I seen him make nice
I know
plays.
he made plays. Yeah, it was just weird.
Will Howard, Mike. Will Howard. Now, I don't know if I like this the way that this is worded, but I like the signs of it, Mike. Will Howard has already moved up the QB depth chart. Again, Mason's going to be your number 2. There's not much room to improve on the depth chart, of course, with what it is that we have. It is what it is. But you got to like what you're hearing about Will Howard, Mike. Again, some people are going way ahead, saying could this 6th-round pick or whatever he was be the next quarterback that we've seen in the past coming out of the 6th round that did things that people didn't expect him to do. I'm not going to mention any names, Mike, but this Will Howard, getting a lot of praise at this point, Mike. Again, only 3 practices in. Yeah. What they're seeing is certainly a lot better. They're saying ahead of where Kenny was, his rookie season, which naturally he should be. One guy was a national championship winning quarterback, and the other guy came from Pitt. But Mike, everything that I'm hearing about Will Howard at this point, as Kenneth is saying on the board, he's shining.
He is shining, and they. What did I read? I think I told you this off air yesterday when we were bullshitting. Is that they left the number 3 offense? They let them go play against the number 1 offense. They would see what the young kid has, and I like the way they're building him up, moving him.
So you're saying, hold on. So the number 3, just to make it clear, number 3 offense against the number 1 defense.
Yeah, and okay. Yeah. So I kind of like that and see what they're gonna do. Now, I don't think he's going to supplant Mason Rudolph as the number 2 this year, but I like the way they're working.
What if he outperforms him?
Then you gotta have that conversation.
What if he comes out, Mike? Again, both of these guys are going to get a lot of playing time in August.
Yeah.
And what if he just comes out and outperforms Mason Rudolph from top to bottom? I wouldn't be fair to keep Mason above him.
Well, you gotta put it in context. So if he's just going out there against like the bottom of the roster, whereas Mason's going up against the higher people on the roster, you would have to be like, okay, Mason's going up against a whole hell of a lot better competition. Now, if Will Howard goes out there and plays against that better competition and performs better than Mason Rudolph, then you have to go, okay, this guy has to be the number 2 at that point.
And you could listen. I can see by the third preseason game, maybe they give Mason a bunch of first half action. Aaron gets his whatever he gets in the first quarter, and then Mason comes out and gets all the first half action, and then let's say game 3, Will Howard comes out and gets all the first half action. So I mean, you tend to see this happen, and I know that Mike Tomlin does that with his quarterbacks. He switches things up in preseason, so you might get the chance to see Will Howard against the 2s.
Yeah.
Instead of seeing Will Howard against the 3s all the time and Mason against the 2s. So I'm hoping, I mean, that would make sense, obviously, is to try to get Will Howard in against the players that are a level above him to see how he performs.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're going to see, Mike. But again, a lot of interesting football coming up here in August. We're going to learn a lot about this team, about rookies, free agents, undrafteds, guys that are getting cut, guys that aren't going to be here. Mike, there's about 90 guys at practice now. So it'll be down to 53 in just a few weeks. As the Steelers are off today, guys, from camp. They'll be back at it tomorrow, kicking off camp in pads. So it's here. The guys are going to be hot. You know that, Mike. It's been reaching high temperatures in the afternoon here in Pittsburgh.
It has, and out there too. And there was a little skirmish the last practice. I'm looking for a lot of fights the first couple of days with pads on. These guys they're already ready to hit each other. I can't wait. Fatanu was all fired up, ready to hit. So I can't wait.
S-Dad says, damn perfect hit ruined AB. Yeah. And Bengals. Yeah. Kenneth Jones says there's a lot, also a couple of receivers looking good in camp so far. Like Craig. Craig went down with an injury. He's on a soft tissue injury. But Craig is down right now. Of course, and Rock Taylor got a chance to shine and did yesterday. Howard is shining. I told you he's the guy. And that's the thing. I hope that he is. Believe me. I hope that we have the guy.
Because if he is the guy, like I said a couple of days ago, man, that totally gives you so much freedom in next year's draft.
Yeah, absolutely. Because where you're trading up to try to get a top quarterback now, if you have who you believe is your quarterback, now you have 12 draft picks to get whatever the hell you need and want. So
oh shit, our receivers didn't pan out the way we thought. Guess what? We're gonna go get one. Or hey, we need a safety. We're going to go get one. We're going to go get this guy, that guy.
It only took 4 seasons to get a wide receiver too, but we'll get one eventually.
We'll get one eventually, bro.
Mark Malone says he can't perform Magnum. Come on, man. Can't outperform Magnum, Mike. And then Kenneth also says they will pace Howard because we have Rodgers, but next year is his. And you know what? Even Rodgers, listen, let's say this team comes a game short. Let's say this team gets into the playoffs and makes a run and wins a couple games. In Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he said, Mike, this might not be his last year. Over the first couple of days of camp, he made this statement after earlier saying that this was going to be his last year. So again, I hope you're right, Kenneth. And again, I think it only helps him by having Aaron Rodgers here. And if it would extend another year, that might even help him a little bit more. Because again, with Kenny and other guys, was that throw him into the Wolves mentality and see how they come out. I don't want to do that for Will Howard. Because, if you bring them along right as every quarterback they do in Green Bay, they bring guys up right behind a good starter like we should have been doing behind Ben, which we may have tried. I don't know. I don't know this whole Mason Rudolph. To me, honestly, I can't believe Mason Rudolph is still in the league. Doesn't it feel like he's been a backup for about 30 years now?
It does, too, feel like that way. But, my God, he's not a bad backup quarterback to have on your roster. It just feels like like you said, he's been here forever.
He won 3 games in a row that we needed one year. I do know that, Mike. He did win 3 games in a row that we needed.
Just help me. We have
that was the highlight of his career,
dude. Robert Spillane made two plays in his career here, and people were ready to put him in the Ring of Honor.
Hey, that's the same thing you're doing with Mason.
I know, right?
What else do we got? Will Howard. A couple things about Aaron Rodgers, Mike. Aaron. Of course, and I was talking about just the connection, the chemistry on this team right now. You could kind of feel the chemistry building. And I think where it all started and how we were saying that people are really buying into Aaron is when Aaron Rodgers was communicating with Mike Tomlin every day in the offseason. And we were up in arms. We didn't know what was going on. We didn't have a quarterback. We all the problems in the world we were complaining about. And yet Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin were on the same page with one another, phone calls every day. And Mike Tomlin said it felt like we were lifelong friends. So this is another reason, Mike. It's almost like these guys on this team, there's a certain, and I don't know why, because again, it's kind of like take everything, throw it against the wall, and see how it turns out.
Yeah.
But these guys are really buying into one another, and he's buying into coach. Coach is buying into him. The players are buying into Aaron. Aaron's buying into the receivers. I seen Aaron Rodgers out there, Mike. You've seen him in day 2 of practice. He has his own private signals already with tight ends and wide receivers.
Yeah.
And he's Mike, you got, again, there's a feeling. This team has a feeling. And you don't want to know feelings, of course, but there's a vibe with this squad, Mike. I got to say, and again, I want to see how I feel at week 8. Because I know last year I knew I felt I felt good going into the season. We have this, we have that. We brought this guy, we have that guy. We got rid of this guy. So talk to me again in week 8. But right now, there's a vibe. I'm really feeling optimistic about what's going on, about the mindset of this team. Again, this defense, just the aggressive mindset with Jalen Ramsey over there flapping his gums, kind of like a Joey Porter did back in his day, which I think you need on defense. Mike, I don't know. I pinch me, but I think I'm feeling good about this football team.
I'm feeling good about the team too. It's week 1 of camp, but you know what? I'm liking what I'm seeing. They're checking the boxes. You want to, as you go through camp in the preseason, all that, you want certain things to see certain things, and we're already seeing some really good signs. Like you said, Aaron Rodgers getting that communication down with his receivers and tight ends, coming up with signals for them that probably aren't in the playbook that they're coming up with themselves to do. So I like seeing that. I like how guys are trying to, hold each other accountable. I forget what safety it was, either Thornhill or Clark. There was one of the younger guys messed up a play. They read the defense wrong. They heard the signal wrong. And he just started yelling right there, saying, "We don't do that shit around here. You have to get your head on right." They're holding each other accountable. Those little things that are going to pay dividends later in the season, because you kept hearing about back end communications in that secondary. All of last year was a huge problem. They're trying to nip that in the bud right now. I like it, and they're just holding each other accountable, which is what we haven't seen in a long time here in Pittsburgh. Is players hold each other accountable. It can't just be the coaches constantly holding you accountable. As a team, as a unit, you have to hold each other accountable. You don't want to let the guy next to you down. We're seeing that now. They're getting closer as a team. Like I said, they shed a lot of dead weight last year or this offseason, and you're seeing it the way this team is gelling and molding. What comes first, chemistry or winning? A lot of guys say you have to win to build chemistry. Others say you have to have chemistry to win. And right now it's looking like they're having the chemistry, and hopefully that will build into the winning. And once they win, that chemistry becomes stronger, and then they can go as far as they need to go.
Speaking of chemistry, Mike, there's not much more chemistry. You can't build much more chemistry better than by rooming, being the roommate of somebody, Mike. Apparently, with these two guys, Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf, rooming with one another.
Yeah,
you're reading all the tales, Mike. The flushings of the toilet.
You don't flush at night, DK. Or you sleeping? No, flush. I love it.
I would love to be a fly on the wall, or there should be, the new Hard Knocks, or there should be something going on where there's a camera in this room. Like, I got to be on.
I need the real world camera like they used to have.
So you like that, you know what I mean? Again, this is more things that are encouraging. We heard and thought coming into when the talks were happening with Aaron Rodgers, is this guy going to be a pain in the ass? Is he going to be a diva? Is everybody going to hate him? And you know what, Mike? It's looking the exact opposite. Again, only the hard times will tell.
Exactly.
But as of right now, things are looking good. You got to feel good about the feeling of what's going on with this squad. But again, we go out in week 3 and we throw 3 interceptions, and maybe somebody doesn't. Who knows? A million things could go through your mind at that point. Let's hope that that's not the case. But as of right now, Mike, everybody is clicking. Everybody's jiving. Everybody wants to be on the same page. And I think a lot of people want to prove a lot of people wrong.
Yeah.
In this organization, they want to prove people outside of the organization wrong, Mike. And this is going to take me to what I want to say next. George Pickens comes out and blasts the Steelers over the weekend, saying Dallas just runs better plays. So, Mike, there's a lot of people that, again, this isn't just somebody from the outside of the organization. This is somebody that was in the organization talking about the experience they had. So this team, I think, wants to really go out and prove themselves and say, you know what, we're a good football team, make way, because we haven't exactly been great the past 5 years, past 8 years, certainly in the
Ooh.
playoffs. So I think this team, Mike, they want to prove themselves and make a name for themselves and show everybody, hey, we're a good football team.
Yeah, and 11 of 22 starters are new.
Yeah.
And and hey, George, maybe if you would have ran your routes at full speed and not slacked off, you might have got open on some of those plays there, bud.
Well,
Maybe
I
not
don't
drop the ball late in the season there, bud.
Mike, I don't think that it's wrong what he said. I think that
Yeah.
some of the play calling over the past 5 years certainly been
Yeah.
questionable at best. But hopefully with the right players in place, we bring that together. We could shrink that margin a little bit. Was George perfect? No, but George did make a hell of a lot of plays as well. So I don't want to go on about him. I look at him, this statement, more as a umbrella statement that people outside of Pittsburgh think. I can't say that we ran amazing plays. I can't say that there was times that we went out and just really out coached the team. So there's a lot of things like that I do expect and hope to see that are different in this year and moving forward. But George Pickens, I don't know. He probably isn't wrong, but again, you hate it because he's an ex-Steeler going somewhere else and saying it, especially when you go to Dallas. Come on.
He's not here. He's their problem now.
Right. He's
I can't wait until he starts running into the stands and starts fighting fans again.
Just a matter of time. RB says, thanks for ruining my day, Mike. I'd be content never hearing the name Bobby Drizzling Shit Spillane again. Spillane Shits, Toussaint,
Sorry, brother.
And Isaac Redmond all can never be spoken of again.
Isaac Redmond. Remember, I forget who used to do play-by-play with with Bon Pompiani. Some old Steeler. He was an old D lineman. He barely played. He'd always yell, Redmond. When Isaac Redmond touched the ball, he was annoying. Isaac Redmond was annoying, and I have flashbacks.
Was it Edmund Nelson?
Edmund fucking Nelson. I hate that guy. That guy was the worst color commentator.
I'm getting Edmund Nelson on the show. I'm gonna have Edmund Nelson debate you, Mike. That'll be the topic one day. Guys, let's see. Waterboy says Patterson. Yes, Patterson was released earlier in the show. Guys, Cordell Patterson is gone. He is no longer a Pittsburgh Steeler. You kind of had that feeling, Mike, if you see the roster being built and what's in and the younger players and what's going out. You kind of felt that happening, but Patterson is gone. He will not be a Pittsburgh Steeler this year, Mike, unless he comes and signs again later, whatever. But more than likely not. Kind of says, imagine having all night to talk about what went wrong, right or wrong in practice. Exactly. Kenneth says, fantastic news. Yep. Let's see. Waterboy. Okay. Let's go Steelers. Kenny D. Welcome to the show. Always great seeing you on the board, sir. Welcome. Mark Malone. Spillane went on to kick ass. That's the thing about Spillane. He wasn't bad. The guy was the main three plays that I'm thinking about with Robert Spillane are him stopping Derrick Henry, him stopping Lamar Jackson, and then there was somebody else, Mike. He
picked up a fumble. And those were like the only three plays he ever made here. And he was a liability here. But he went on to the Raiders and be just
I think he was just as good. I think he was just as effective as Landon Roberts. I don't think Landon Roberts was any better or any worse. I think that those were the same player, the same I do. Mike, I didn't see a huge improvement. They brought the same thing. They were both solid linebackers. They made big plays every now and then. You want to see more from them, but there's a reason they're not here anymore. Mark Malone wasn't a bad player either. RB. Okay, Kenneth says RB. All of them. The spot fillers.
Waterboy, the cap space after Patterson's $2.8 million. That's what I read.
Kenneth, we ran over Spillane. We played against him. Kenny says Spillane's pick six on Lamar. Yes, the pick six is what I'm thinking about as well. Come on, he was making big play after big play that year. I don't know where all the sour grapes on Spillane's coming from. RB says all of them should have been roster fillers. Tomlin made them way more than they should have been. Spillane sucked, Kenneth is saying. And RB is saying, like James Pierre. Mike, couple more things here. We will start getting ready to wrap the show up. Some comments from outside of the organization. Well, I don't know if it's outside. I don't know what he is. What is this Patrick Rooney anyway? The great grandson of
who knows what the hell he is.
So now, remember, he was saying that he wouldn't pay Watt, the money that we paid him. Now he's going on saying that Ramsey and Metcalf are head cases, which they may be. we're giving them the benefit of the doubt now because they're wearing our colors. But Mike, now he's going on talking about these wide receivers, calling them head cases. Who is this Patrick Rooney?
He's some distant relative. I don't even think he has any like ownership stake in the team.
Why does anybody even care what he's saying? Why is this even?
Because his last name's Rooney. He's talking shit on the Steelers, so people are gonna be like, hell yeah. Well, let's listen to what this guy has to say. But yeah, DK, is he a head case? Not in the locker room, not against the team, but he will beat up a defensive back when needs be. Jalen Ramsey runs his mouth but backs it up with his play. I'll take him.
And finally, Mike, Ben, Joey Porter Sr., and Marquise Pouncey will enter the Steelers Hall of Honor on December 15th when the Steelers host the Miami Dolphins. Guys, Ben, Peasy, Marquise Pouncey entering the Steelers Hall of Honor.
I like it. All three well-deserved. Pouncey might be the third best center this team has ever had.
It's going to be cool. Congratulations to them, guys. I mean, come on. It was just a matter of time.
Yeah, especially for Big Ben and Peasy.
I know. Come on. So, congratulations to those gentlemen. Practice was called on Friday, Mike. It was called at 3:30 due to lightning. The guys are back at it tomorrow. Of course, they practiced all through the weekend, but I just wanted to throw that out there. A lot of people made their way out to Latrobe, and practice was called, and the university was evacuated, Mike, once lightning hit. So they'll be back at it tomorrow in pads. We have the Lions and the Chargers Thursday night on TV. I know a lot of people was just chomping at the bit, ready to get back to watch their NFL football. And then next weekend, the Steelers travel to Jacksonville in their first preseason game. That is a week from this upcoming Saturday.
Dude, bad football on Thursday is back. I can't wait.
Not this Thursday. I want to see this Lions team and I want to see this Chargers team both, but I'm sure eventually we will have bad football on Thursday.
Oh, I can't. Hey, the first preseason game tends to be kind of rough, but I can't wait.
Kenneth says, okay, head cases that could help us go far. Or, that's the thing about head cases. You just don't know, though. I mean, look at some of the head cases that we had. Yes, they could be. That's the thing. The head cases are usually really good. That's what makes it so hard. They have mad potential, but they're head cases. So, yeah. Waterboy says Spillane reminds me of a Landon Roberts, a tackle machine, but couldn't cover. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Neither could cover.
He took Spillane's role and he played like Spillane. I think those two guys mirror each other as far as their style and their skills. Kenneth says Roberts was better than Spillane. From what I've seen, listen. I think Spillane made more splash plays. He made big plays when they needed to happen, which was odd because you wasn't expecting it from him. Where Landon Roberts, I was kind of expecting a little bit more, but he was a solid tackle machine, and I was okay with that. He didn't make the big play here. He didn't really make the changing plays that Spillane made through the course of the game. But I thought those two players mirrored one another. When you got rid of one and brought in the other, I felt about the same. Yes, pads tomorrow, guys. I can't wait. It's going to be hot. Waterboy says helmets and pads on Tuesday. Waterboy, I can't believe Broderick Jones went down again. We did. We talked about him at the top. Waterboy, he's a concern. As optimistic as I am feeling about this season, and I'm feeling good, he's certainly a concern. Kenneth, I think we better worry more about tackle depth than wide receiver 2. Yeah. Yeah, Mike. What? Let me ask you. What's our who's behind Broderick if Broderick goes down?
Who's it? Dylan Cook.
Dylan Cook. So, Waterboy says Broderick better get healthy and back sooner. The Steelers will move on without him. You know what? And unfortunately, it's starting to really feel like that. This is year 3. We shouldn't still be having year 1 issues with him. And it's not the injury. It's the play. Yes, he's improving. Yes, he's getting better in some areas, but there's still things about him that's a major concern, Mike. Just between the ears. Again, the guy has all the talent in the world physically, but it's between the ears with him, and that's what worries me because you could get a guy in the weight room and get him on a diet system and all that stuff, but when it comes up here,
yep,
you are who you are.
It's like the O-line coach said, he has everything down. It's just consistency. In his play is Broderick Jones' biggest problem. And that's not what you want to hear, because that's just frustrating, because you can do it, so fucking do it.
And it says that could be Tallman wanting to see our other tackles because we got rid of one after he replaced Jones. And Anderson Waterboy says, Mike, the Steelers are planning on $1.9 billion renovations for cutting-edge technology at Acrisure Stadium, luxury suites, and expanded seating. Mike, the stadium itself costed $270 million back in 2001. $270 million, Mike. They're putting $1.9 billion in renovations.
That's insane. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Better be fucking space age futuristic shit there.
Well, they better have them locker rooms that the players complain about
Right?
every year.
Yeah, they won't fix any of that shit, brother.
Yeah. They'll still have the high school locker rooms. Mike, all right, I guess it's time, bud. We got to get into the Pirates briefly. I mean, you know what? I have some more NFL. Screw the Pirates. Mike, the Cleveland Browns. Want to talk about this joke for a couple minutes?
Yeah.
Pierre Strong is their starting running back. Shador Sanders is playing catch on the sideline with equipment managers. And the defensive green dot retired on them just before camp started. Just more things about Cleveland. Like, there's no real rhyme, reason, or point of why I brought these up, but I just wanted to throw them out to you, Mike. And on top of all those things, Kenny Pickett is outperforming all the rest of their quarterbacks.
Well, it's funny you should mention KP. Guess who landed on the injury report?
I was getting there, Mike. He did. He had a slight edge over the rest of the quarterbacks on the depth chart, Mike. But yes, with a hamstring injury on Saturday, he is on the injury report, Mike, which is even funnier because he's outperforming all the other quarterbacks, and he ends up being the one who gets hurt. So it is going to give the other guys some more reps where, again, they won't be throwing with the towel boy on the sideline. And, no offense on the board to the water boy, but there you have it, Mike. There's the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland is Cleveland, as Ken says on the board.
And I don't even think Quinshon Judkins has signed, and all of his legal trouble. So Pierre Strong and Dylan Sampson and probably Dylan Gabriel and Shador Sanders is your quarterbacks and running backs. And then you got Deontay Johnson out at wide receiver, forgetting how to catch, forgetting which way to run.
Yeah. Wow. What a funny thing they got going over there. Waterboy says, I fear Flacco more than Kenny and Shador. Absolutely. I think he falls in that category. He's seen it. So,
What's Dylan Gabriel be the starting quarterback?
Also, Mike Hilton, former Steelers and Cincinnati Bengal DB. Mike, he goes down to join Minkah Fitzpatrick in Miami over the weekend. Minkah and Mike Hilton in Miami.
Mike Hilton turned himself into a baller, undrafted free agent, man, made himself a name in the league.
Jalen Carter out of practice with a shoulder injury. Mike, I go on and on about Jalen Carter over in Philadelphia. They get the Georgia Bulldogs that win. We get the Georgia Bulldogs that are
that go crazy.
Broderick Jones. Also, Mike, Terrell Pryor's attempted lawsuit to receive NIL money. Back pay was dismissed. Him and a bunch of other people, but Terrell Pryor, of course, being from here, the most notable to us, Mike, their case has been dismissed.
You know what? I don't blame those guys for trying, especially for people like Terrell Pryor, because he was suspended for shit for that. Him and Maurice Claret, those guys all got screwed over big time back in the day.
Pittsburgh Riverhounds, Mike, and our other football team, they tie with Portland over the weekend. Portland, Maine, 2-2, and then in the shootout they end up losing 5-4. They do play again, Mike. They play Miami FC tomorrow night at 7:00 p.m. And the Pittsburgh Pirates finally bringing up the rear, Mike. They wear their all-black uniforms, which were pretty awesome. I got to be honest with you. With the all-black, they look good. And they are involved in 3 more shutouts throughout the weekend. They get shut out 1-0. They get one shutout on Friday. Mike, they win 2-0 over the Diamondbacks on Saturday, where Bednar gets his 100th win, or his 100th save, sorry. And then on yesterday, the Pirates 6, the Diamondbacks nothing. Paul Skeens goes 6 innings, gives up 3 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts on 99 pitches. Mike, he has a .067 ERA in July. And also this Pittsburgh Pirates team, Mike, as I mentioned, they all the shutouts that they played in for in wins and losses, Mike, wins and losses, they have 27 at this point. Mike, 32 is the record in 1907 by the Cubs in games teams involved in shutouts in a season, both win and losses. 32, 1907, the last time that's been done. Pirates 27 with 2 months left to go in the season. I think that they get another weird record this year,
brother. You know we break that record.
Absolutely, we're at least going to get shut out 5 more times.
This is the way. This is Bucko baseball, baby. Because you know we're not going to trade for a bat.
What a joke! You have so many prospects, and this is how they continue to run things. It's unbelievable, Mike.
Right? You have, a closer who found his groove. He's like Stella, got his groove back. You got aces, 2 aces in your pitching staff. You think you'd add a couple bats and win some fucking ball games, but no,
like they don't do shit. You know
the Pirates are going to pirate, baby.
We're not going to talk about them anymore. Let's move on. Mike, real quick though, they do start a new series tonight in San Francisco. 9:45, the Buccos will be at the Giants. The Pirates come with a 44-62 record. This is game 1 of 3. Mitch Keller will be on the bump tonight with a 4-10 record, 3.53 and 97 strikeouts on the season. He'll be facing Carson Wisenhunt, who has zeros across the board. It looks like this is his first start of the season. Mike, why don't you go and tell everybody about the website?
The2dumbyinzers.com. Check it out, boys. We got all of our social media links over there. We got our merch store over there. We got the dumb thoughts over there. Check it out at the2dumbyinzers.com.
Go check it out, everybody. Go check it out. A lot of good stuff over there. Also, Mike, I do want to say that Caleb Johnson credited Jalen Warren for setting an awesome example in the running back room. So, guys, a lot of positive stuff. Even though, we pick and we split hairs, which ultimately these are going to be problems if you don't address them anyway or talk about them. They'll certainly come up later. So, but overall, Mike, very optimistic about this team going into the season. I think that we might win a playoff game and hopefully more. But go check out our website, everybody, www.the2dumbyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumbyinzers.com. Trivia question of the day. Mike, put on your thinking cap. Everybody at home, everybody on the board. Here we go. Question of the day. This almost Pittsburgh Steeler admitted to almost joining an organized crime family before changing his career decision to acting. Question of the day. This almost Pittsburgh Steeler admitted he almost joined an organized crime family before changing his career decision to acting. Think that over, guys. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day right here on the tube. On the tube. Question of the day. This almost Pittsburgh Steeler admitted he almost joined an organized crime family before changing his career decision to acting. Mike, any thoughts?
Yes. A man who I think he was from Youngstown. It has to be Ed O'Neill, Mr. Al Bundy himself.
Are you saying he scored 4 touchdowns in one game?
4 touchdowns, 1 game, Peg.
All right, so Mike's saying Ed O'Neill, Al Bundy, RB on the same note up top on the board says Ed O'Neill as well. Question of the day, guys. This almost Pittsburgh Steeler admitted he almost joined an organized crime family before changing his career decision to acting. Al Bundy, Mike says. Ed O'Neill, RB says him. And that's your final, Mike?
That's my final.
All right, let me lock you in. Final answer. You're locked in. Give another moment in case anybody else wants to throw any thoughts up there. On the board, Ed O'Neill. It was 4 touchdowns in the high school city championship. He played for what? Polk High.
Polk High, 4 touchdowns in 1 game.
And Waterboy's saying definitely Ed. All right, so we got a lot of people saying Ed O'Neill, guys. Question of the day. Here we go. This almost Pittsburgh Steeler admitted he almost joined an organized crime family before changing his career decision to acting. And if anybody knows anything about Youngstown, you know that there was quite an organized crime situation there for quite some time. Very well known for it, actually. The
Yeah.
correct answer, everybody, of course, is Ed O'Neill, Al Bundy. So there you go. Could you imagine if he wouldn't have been an actor or a Steeler? He would have been a organized crime boss or whatever the hell you are. I don't know. Would have been something, huh?
Exactly. That would have been weird. Al Bundy working for the crime family.
Al Bundy, the hitman. You remember? I remember that one episode where everybody in the neighborhood was getting peeped, like by a peeping tom. Everybody except for Peg, and even the old, even the old women were getting peeped. So she was driving Alan nuts about it. So he decided he was going to peep her. He put a pantyhose over his head, and he climbs up a ladder, and he's standing there with his face by the window, and he's going peep peep. Love me some Married with Children, man. But that's what I'm saying. Look how stupid he looked doing that. Could you imagine him being a hitman or
oh god,
a crime?
wild.
You know. So there you go. So that was the correct answer. Yes, everybody, it was Ed O'Neill. He was the almost Steeler who admitted he almost joined an organized crime family before changing his career to become an actor. Mike, a few things before we do wrap it up. The Three Gooners will be back in full speed this week, Mike. Friday night at 9:30. Check out Finch and the guys. They're done with their little hiatus. They'll be back 9:30 this Friday. Pretty steady through the rest of through August and through football season. I can't wait to check the guys out. They always keep me laughing, Mike. Right here on the network. Check out the Three Gooners Friday night at 9:30.
Check them out.
Also, don't forget Derpy Goes to Camp. No, that's not the next. That's not the next movie coming out. That is what's going on here on the show. Derpy Goes to Camp. Derpy will be going to camp this weekend, and we'll be getting live feed from him as he's at camp. And he's saying that he's not going to wear his Superman cape.
That's fair. I'd like to see him wear it, but it is like 9,000 degrees up there. We don't need Derpy stroking out.
All right. What else we got? Again, I haven't had a chance yet. Go over and visit our social media pages. We are on Facebook. We're on X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. Visit our social media pages. Hit the like, hit the follow, all that kind of fun stuff. Mike, anything before we do get ready to wrap things up for today, sir?
Yeah. Check out Happy Gilmore 2. Yeah, I watched it. I liked it. I laughed. It's not a deep thinking movie. It's a dumb comedy where you turn your brain off for about 2 hours, I think, and you laugh at all the stupid cameos and the bad acting and the bad plot. And yeah, it was a funny movie. I liked it. Go check it out.
I meant to watch it this weekend, and I didn't. So maybe tonight I'll watch it and love the conversation tomorrow a little bit about it on the show. And I know Derpy's seen it at the last moment, so maybe we'll get him to swing by. We'll talk about that because he does his movie reviews. So I'm curious to see what he has to say. So I'm going to try to check that out today if I do get the chance later on this evening, Mike. So it was Happy Gilmore. I mean,
it was Happy Gilmore. Yeah, it was far-fetched like the first movie.
Yeah.
Stupid cameos like the first movie.
I heard Eminem was in it.
Eminem was in it. Yeah, he had a little cameo. There were some callbacks. You can tell, they wanted to use Carl Weathers, but he died, so they made a new character for his son with a fake hand and everything too. It was so stupid, so funny, and it was kind of making that there's like a rival golf league that's all extreme, kind of making from the PGA and the Live Golf Tour. So yeah, it was stupid but funny.
All right, I will check it out. Everybody, check out not Waterboy, but Happy Gilmore 2. Camp, guys, Steelers are off today. Back at it tomorrow with pads. Can't wait. We're just one step closer. Thursday night we have football. The Lions and the Chargers will be on TV. Can't wait, Mike. And in just 1 week from this coming Saturday, the Steelers at Jacksonville. I'm feeling optimistic, Mike, again. But at the end of the day, there should be things that you should be able to pick out that aren't just right or that you feel should be better. And that's kind of where I'm at. I feel overall optimistic about this team. I feel good. I think the guys feel good. I think that the new additions are working out great, Mike, especially, with Jalen Ramsey really taking over and bringing that aggressive mind set to the Steelers defense, Mike. So a lot of things going on that I'm very happy with. I can't wait to see them get out there a week from this Saturday in the preseason, get a look at everybody, get a look at rookies, get a look at the free agents, get a look at just everything, Mike. It's so close. It's less than 2 weeks away. We'll be watching our Steelers on TV. It's unbelievable, as a matter of fact, how fast it came. But here we are, Mike. So again, super excited. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about everything, getting ready to head into the first camp with Pads on tomorrow. Super excited, Mike. At our regular time. Anything else before we go, man?
I got nothing, man. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Absolutely, everybody. We do appreciate everybody. We want to thank you for tuning in. We appreciate each and every one of you. We truly do. We wouldn't do it without you. I want to say thank you to everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting here on the show. We appreciate you. And everybody at home, maybe you're in the car, maybe you're at the gym, maybe you're just watching on your big screen TV at home. Thank you too. Mike, if that's all
I got, brother.
All right. So everybody have a great day. Keep cool. No camp today, guys. Back at it tomorrow. Pads will be back tomorrow as well. Mike will be wearing his pad.
What the hell, brother?
But nonetheless,
a little bit of incontinence, that's all.
Everybody have a great Monday. Stay safe. Stay cool. If you haven't had a chance yet, hit the like below, hit the sub button. It helps us out. We appreciate you, everybody.